Proverbs chapter 25. Proverbs 25 is written in the same contrasting style as we see throughout the book of Proverbs. I would like to focus on Proverbs 25, verses 21 through 22. Verse 21 states, "If your enemy is hungry, give him food to eat. If he is thirsty, give him water to drink." The second greatest commandment is to love your neighbor as yourself. That means all neighbors, the ones we like and the ones we dislike, our friends and our enemies. Proverbs 25:21 teaches us to provide food to our enemies if they are hungry and water to drink if they are thirsty, which means to help our enemies in any way that we can in their time of need. As we concluded in Proverbs 14, God's way is not man's way. Man's natural reaction is to do unto others as they do unto you. Let's get even. Do more harm. The more harm, the better. And sure not to help our enemy in his time of need, thinking all the time they're getting exactly what they deserve. God's way is not to get even or to harm your enemy in any way, but to be kind, although his behavior may not warrant kindness. Our pride might tell us this is a sign of weakness, or if I'm nice to this person, their treatment of me will only get worse. It takes a lot of strength and character to treat an enemy with kindness, especially when you believe they deserve no kindness at all. And then how will this person react to me? Really, one of two ways. They may continue bad behavior toward you, and if so, so what? What have you lost? Nothing other than taking an opportunity to reach out, show kindness, and follow God's word. In many cases, reaching out to an enemy with undeserved kindness will stir a person's conscience, get them to thinking about your situation or your relationship, perhaps regret their behavior towards you. Often a bad situation is changed. Behavior or attitude towards you might improve, or a relationship may be restored. We have no idea what kindness can do in another person's life. We are charged to follow God's word and let him do the rest. Jesus taught us as believers to be good to those who persecute you. Our rewards are not of this world. Jesus told us in Matthew 25, verse 40, "Inasmuch as ye have done unto the least of these, my brethren, ye have done it unto me." Jesus has taught us as Christians to be Christ-like. And he gave us examples of this. Jesus taught us that if our enemy slaps us on the cheek, turn to him the other cheek. Jesus even said on the cross, while suffering on the cross, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." It may not feel like the natural thing to do, but it's God's way. We see the results of kindness in Proverbs 25, verse 22. Where it says, "In doing this, you will heap burning coals on his head, and the Lord will reward you." When you treat your enemies with kindness, not only does the possibility of a restored relationship exist, but God will reward the peacemaker. God's way is for us to love our enemies and pray for them. This is how he treats us. None of us deserve any kindness from God because of our own sin. Yet he gives us abundant grace and mercy. We are all yet sinners, enemies of God, but for those who asked for forgiveness, he was kind and forgave. We see this truth addressed again twice in the New Testament. Paul quoted this same Proverbs in Romans 12, verse 20. "If your enemy is hungry, feed him. If he is thirsty, give him drink. for in doing so you will heap coals of fire on his head. And again in Matthew chapter 5, verses 43 through 45. You have heard that it was said, you shall love your neighbor and hate your enemy. But I say to you, love your enemies. Bless those who curse you. Do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who spitefully use and persecute you, that you may be sons of your Father in heaven. For he makes the sun rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the just and the unjust. This plainly teaches that God's love extends even to his enemies. This is a universal love and grace abundantly given to all.